We are 17 minutes with two, sir.
Yeah, we'll manage.
Okay. Sir, the Trinamool Congress and its leader, Ms. Mamata Banerjee, have been the original and the unstinting crusaders in this matter of FDI. Other parties have periodically jumped on and off the issue, and more recently, some parties we see are converting their morning walks into afternoon walks in the Houses of Parliament. Only the Trinamool Congress has a consistent, principled and steady, committed and a well-considered opposition for FDI and multi-brand retail at this stage of India's development. Sir, these are not hollow words. This is a solemn commitment made in our promise to the people. Since our party was instituted in 1998, we have published 7 election manifestos, and in each one we have made this very clear. It is telling that the points and objections that the Trinamool raised in the context of FDI and retail over these many years and months are today being accepted and echoed by parties across the board. We feel vindicated in this regard, and even if a feckless government chooses to ignore our reasoning and our requests, we are confident in our wisdom. The land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement law that is being drawn up also takes much from the arguments and hard reality that we have been attempting to bring to the forefront since 2006. This will be repeated with FDI retail. The Congress be warned. The Trinamool is against a policy that sees India only as a market. Our economy cannot be an economy that promotes just consumption and neglects production. Unfortunately, over 8 years, the Congress-led minority UPA government, now been reduced to an irresponsible and nonchalant minority, has rejected this idea. The Trinamool is definitely not anti-reform. We reject what the Congress-led minority government is doing today in the name of reform. Genuine reform is not about raising FDI limits in this sector or the other. Genuine reform is not about raising diesel prices. Genuine reform is not about putting a cap on LPG cylinders and driving the housewife to Bankura in tears. What is genuine reform? Genuine reform is about government giving infrastructure a push. Genuine reform is about coal being used to generate power. Genuine reform is not about coal mines being handed over to political cronies. Genuine reform is about roads and highways being built. Genuine reform is about modern, labor-friendly factories. Genuine reform is about manufacturing units being encouraged to open in India. Genuine reform is providing jobs. Genuine reform is about being true to the salt of India. What is happening in the name of reform, sir, is not genuine reform. We'll tell you what is happening. What is happening is deform. This is a deformed government which has long ceased to perform. A government that is steeped in corruption, a government whose credibility has reached an all-time low. So low, sir, is the credibility of this government that it seems to act only when prodded or instigated by international opinion. Indian aspirations don't seem to bother. For this UPA, FDI is no more, no less than foreign direct instructions. On September the 4th, 2012, the Washington Post newspaper published an article, and the Honorable Prime Minister of our country is sitting here today. That article said, a tragic figure leading a deflated regime. 10 days later, on September the 14th, the government announces its FDI and retail misadventure. It took the government 10 days to react. Sir, it took the Trinamool Congress 3 days to react. By September the 17th, we had made it clear that we would sacrifice 6 ministerial positions, including my colleague, the Honorable Mukul Roy, of the Railway Minister. We'd sacrifice the ministerial positions. We would not sacrifice our principles. Today, the government says allowing FDI in retail was a considered decision, taken after 10 to 12 years of debate. 12 years or 10 days in September? Please be honest. I know you can't be honest with us. You can't be honest with the people of India. You can't be honest with yourselves. So at least be honest with the Washington Post and admit you only acted when it mocked you. Maybe send its editors a thank you note, and that would be honesty. Sir, consider the Asian countries that have well-established... Finished? Sir, consider the Asian countries that have well-established global retail chains in their economy. Before they opened up their markets, sir, they equipped their people to become sustainable stakeholders and build an infrastructure. Before FDI, sir, there needs to be that other I. But for the Congress-led minority government, that is not infrastructure which is the I. It has always been the personal pronoun, I, me and myself. We are told today, very often, that FDI in retail is needed because Indian companies too are investing abroad. Ellen Mittal has bought Arcelor in France. GVK is buying coal mines in Australia. Do note that all these countries are allowing foreign capital after years and centuries of development. As such, foreign capital is not a threat to domestic economic stakeholders, but complements a mature economy. I will welcome FDI in retail the day Murshidabad Silks products have a ready and easy market in shops in Melbourne. I will welcome FDI retail the day Channapatna toys can be sold to children in Calgary, or the day the Jaipur Foot will find seamless access to orthopedic clinics in Jamaica. That would be an equal world. Why, sir, are we surrendering so easily? Opening up of the retail is the final and logical step of a developmental process. The UPA Congress-led minority government has made it the first step. It's almost like a property developer who has started decorating the drawing room without building the foundations of the building. So there are several misperceptions and even myths about the benefits of FDI in retail. It is claimed that FDI will create, and some of my colleagues have also raised that, will create shorter and efficient supply chains due to contract farming, which will help agriculturalists. The point is, sir, in the West, there is a monopsony situation. Retail giants control the entire supply chain. We are told in retail, FDI in retail will eliminate the middleman from agriculture, from farm to fork, as it were. Sir, we have done a study of how retail chains operate. They don't eliminate middlemen, they bring in their own middlemen. Each big retail chain buys from the farmer. That retail chain has an assessor, a processor, a scrutinizer, a mark-upper, and thanks to this government, we will learn these new nouns and suffer this new breed of middlemen in times to come. The Congress once spoke of import substitution. Nowadays, the Congress speaks of importing and substitution. There is a clause which the Commerce Minister has been touting, I heard in the Lok Sabha yesterday, to source 30% of manufactured goods from SMEs or small industrial units. There is a clause there. This is a strange and a bizarre clause, obviously written by someone who has little understanding of how big retail operates. The point we make is, in Indonesia, in China, in South Korea, in Vietnam, big retail chains source their goods from these SMEs and then grow these SMEs into customized suppliers, often incapable in terms of legal provisions or product lines to do business with alternative buyers. The question we ask is, what will happen then when these companies grow to beyond SME? They will be dumped, their workers will be penalized for no fault of their own, or the companies will be used to use fraudulent methods and officially divide their operations into smaller operations. And then an inspector will come, visit, seek a bribe, and in the name of reform, we're actually reinventing the license permit Raj. Sir, in conclusion, this is an astonishingly bad idea. But what else can we expect from a government of deform, ready to sell India not to the highest, but to the lowest bidder? In country after country, Mexico, Philippines, South Korea, Argentina, Vietnam, the implication of FDI in retail being permitted has seen a depreciation, a depreciation of the local currency, surge in imports, the BOP worsens, crime rates increase. We in the Trinamool fear that this could happen too in India. This country is not yet ready for FDI and multi-brand retail. Much more than what is needed, the government needs to be sensitive to HDI, Human Development Index.
Conclude, please.
I'm concluding, sir. I said not FDI, but HDI, the Human Development Index. When a government brushes aside HDI and embraces only FDI, sir, it breaks a fundamental contract with the people. It becomes a burden on the people. This is what has happened. It is not just the opening up to FDI in retail, it is actually selling India wholesale. This government needs to spare us this agony, sir. This government needs to go. India deserves better. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brian. Now, Sri Naresh Agarwal. Sri Naresh Agarwal.